What's going on, guys? So I figured it's a beautiful day, get out in nature and do a video. I just uploaded a video on my iPhone, a little macro tutorial, just something super simple, nothing really elaborate, but a friend of mine was asking about shooting in the macro mode on her new iPhone 14, so I did that video, so check that out. But this video is going to be, I had a couple jobs yesterday that came up. One was a smaller job for like $350, another one was for $400, nothing major. One was by an airport, so that kind of raised a little bit of an issue because I did not have an hotel with me. And I figure why not do a video on essentially some of the things you need to pay attention to while on the job or while getting a job. Just the realistic things that can happen while you're on location shooting for an actual paid client. So first thing is checking your airspace. Know where you're going to fly, see if you can fly legally, see what the grid is, see if you can fly, 400 feet no problem as a 107 pilot, or if you have a zero grid like I did yesterday. And realistically, if you do have a zero grid or something near an airport, what you're supposed to do is go to FAA drone zone and file a LANC authorization to get clearance to fly. Probably set your ceiling to like 100 foot for your limit. I got bugs crawling on me, but part of being outside in the studio here. But that's the realistic way of going about it. I did not do that because I had an hotel with me and I didn't even think that I was going to have an issue because I knew I was kind of right on the border of being in the zero grid and being in a 100-foot ceiling, which is essentially all I needed. But I did have both drones, so I knew it was a last-minute thing. I wouldn't even have had the authorization in time regardless. So the Mavic 3 took off essentially anywhere I wanted. I had to unlock it, no issue. My last shot in the zero grid, it was restricted and I couldn't fly. But with an hotel, which has no geofencing, you could easily launch and get your shot and not have that issue. Is that realistically the way you're supposed to go about it? No, but that's what a lot of people do. And for me, I knew I was flying probably 50 feet over a parking lot, super safe, nothing high risk at all. And this guy got my last shot and saved the day for me, and that's that. I do have a body camera with me in this video, and I do wear this on most locations when I'm shooting, just because if anyone has any kind of issue or confrontation or altercation or coming up, like a homeowner at a real estate shoot or some neighbor or something, you actually are documented. I did have a little assault case that some people are aware of in the city in Chicago. I did settle on that. They did kind of find the person guilty, and yeah, I got money, and not a huge amount, but enough to, buy a couple cinis, and we'll leave it at that. So this definitely would have saved my ass, and I would have had more proof than I did if I didn't. So this is a huge thing in 2023. You see how kind of crazy and chaotic the world is. Everyone is pretty much unpredictable, it seems, and living in fear. Hence also having police tactical spray. It matches the Mavic 3 and the Atort nicely with the orange cap, but I figured I don't want to conceal, and I'm not a gun owner, so for me, I don't think that's the right solution for myself. No judgment if that is your option, but for me, I just wanted to have something, so I simply put this in the side pocket of my backpack, and it's there in case of a bad situation. It's a tactical pepper spray, roughly 80 bucks, and I could leave a link in the description where I got this, but you need to have a backup drone too. This is not mandatory. This is something I just am going to talk about because I figure it's in my gear bag. The police camera, I think, is more mandatory, meaning the body camera, and having a backup drone and having an hotel with no geofencing is also mandatory. To me, every single person who's flying professionally should have at least one hotel, whether it's a Nano Plus or a Light Plus or an Evo 2 Pro, something with no geofencing, just to save your ass in case you do get in that situation where you are in some kind of airspace that's restricted and you just need a simple shot to move on and be done. So hotel, extra batteries is always going to be something that you're going to need. Yesterday, I picked this up from my friend who I sold it to. She was kind enough to let me borrow it, and she said everything was charged, but guess what? I got to the shoot, all the batteries were discharged, and the remote had like 1 bar left, so I was really not in a great position. I didn't feel prepared at all. My Mavic 3, I haven't flown in a second. My batteries were kind of discharged on this as well. So I really wasn't in a great professional place to be. My iPhone was actually on 20% battery. I threw that in low power mode. And another thing, I have the DJI charger for the car, and that thing saved my butt because in between shoots, I plugged that into my car charger and I flew my Mavic 3 for a couple locations, and guess what? That remote charged enough to where I can go back and use the Atort safely again with no issue. So that's another great thing to have in your gear bag. Spare memory cards is another great thing, but having 2 drones is always going to be important because you want to back up in case something happens, you crash, one doesn't work, a propeller breaks, whatever it may be. Spare props is also another realistic thing you want to have in your gear bag. And just having even here, hold on one second, I'm going to get it. Do. As much as people think this is kind of goofy, regardless of what the saying is, having a vest is super crucial when you're out. To me, I didn't actually wear this yesterday, but it does help identify you. I just kind of flew a little bit lower key. I actually had to get footage for a local municipality, so I had to get pictures and video of the fire station, the police station, the library, and the town square area. So town, easy, not a big deal. The library was under construction, but still not a big deal. And the police station, nobody seemed to be there. It was a small little town, but still, I had one little incident with not an incident, I went up to an officer and asked them where the town was. And of course, they kind of give you a little attitude, like who's this guy or tattooed guy, who knows for my example, but regardless, he was questioning. I kind of talked in a way where I knew, yeah, I have authorization, I know and I'm aware of the airport nearby, but he brought up the airport essentially, and I kind of snipped him in the butt and said, yes, I have authorization and I'm aware of everything, and I'm conscious of planes flying and manned aircraft near me, so I get it. But at the same time, just be aware that you may have some kind of confrontation or you may have someone questioning you. Be kind, be respectful, be courteous. Don't snap at them. It's not everyone, is trying to get you or be a jerk. Try to have some good drone vibes, as I've said before, and just be an ambassador for the drone world. Don't be a jerk. I mean, it's easier said than done at times. This officer was nice enough, but at the same time, you could tell a little bit apprehensive and kind of, just a little bit of an attitude maybe, but he ended up going away and I ended up continue flying. And then that's another thing. Fly confidently, know what you're doing. If you have your 107 license, know that you actually are prepared and are professional and are doing things in the right legal way. You've studied, you've worked, you got to a certain point, and you're not doing things in an irresponsible manner. You're following the laws, you're doing things by the FAA guidelines. Flying this drone without authorization, yes, technically is not the right way, but who's anyone kidding? We all push it a teeny bit. Is it a big deal? It could be, but at the same time, it's kind of a little minor infraction. I don't think the FAA is going to be going after anyone doing something like that. They're going to be going after people really breaking the laws and really going out and flying dangerously and recklessly. So just be mindful regardless. Don't be pushing it. The Atort, though, is really a game saver because the no geofencing is a huge thing when you do have an issue where you just can't launch and you need to get something like a simple picture of a house, for example, for real estate work. You should be prepared. You should have all your batteries charged. You should have your remote charged. I actually had my remote go to like 5%, almost shut off on me, which I didn't even know what actually happened. Let me know in the comments below. I think it just returns to home, but I didn't want to have that happen. I got it back home safely, and then I just stopped flying this, and I got it back on the charger and got it charged back up. But I actually, when flying, I had a couple people want to talk to me, and that's another thing. Be respectful, be polite, just say, listen, I can't talk right now, I apologize, I'm in the middle of flying, I have to concentrate, something simple like that, and they will pay attention and most likely understand and not give you an issue and stop talking. So One of the guys actually came up to me and said he wanted to work, so I have a shoot with him for another $350. It was a local food truck owner. So that's pretty cool. You can actually get business while you're out flying. So be a good, positive role model and drone ambassador, as I said. And a lot of times business will just come your way because of that. So I don't know, just wanted to talk story a teeny bit about a drone job or a couple drone jobs I had yesterday. Definitely pay attention, be well rested, have the vest. A lot of times if you have a long day, believe me, I had 4 locations at the end of the day that I had to shoot for sunset. The police station, the fire station, video and photos for both the library and then the town, and it was a new area which I wasn't familiar with. And it does take some time to get different altitudes, different shots. The sun setting, you're kind of tired, and at the end of your day, gear is having to be paid attention to and charged. So make sure you're fully charged too before you go and shoot if possible. And really, that's about it. So if you have any questions or tips for me, let me know what you guys do in the comments below, what helps you out while you're on location on a shoot. There may be some things I'm missing, maybe have some bottled water, have some snacks. It may seem kind of goofy, but at the same time, as I said, you want to make sure you're replenished and focused. You don't want to be not in a good place and state of mind. If you are having a hard day or a stressful day, maybe it's best just to then reschedule, because you don't want to be in a bad zone when you're flying drones. There is a lot that goes into it, and there's a lot of focus that takes part when you're flying, whether you're making sure you don't hit a tree, or you're being conscious of the road traffic or people or whatever it may be. So extra batteries, fully charged everything. Body camera is definitely mandatory in my opinion for a lot of shoots. Yesterday was a pretty relaxed shoot, as I said, in a rural zone, so I didn't even wear this, but I think having it on just is a nice thing because it shows that you are taking precautions to kind of cover your ass. And you may say, you know, you had a situation you weren't comfortable, and I invested in a body camera. Like myself, I had a physical assault that happened, so I have a body camera to make sure I'm covered. That's really it. So vest, whether or not you like, I'll put a link in the description below. I got this off of Etsy, but definitely is a good thing to have. I know people like to make fun of stuff, but you know what? Make fun all you want. If you're making money and doing your job and you're doing it safely in a way that actually works and people aren't bothering you, then guess what? Who cares what other people think? I hope this helps, and aloha, and we will talk on the flip side. I'm hoping my Mavic 3 Pro comes in soon. I know they're back in stock, I think, at B&H. I got my Mini 3 Pro. I had 2 defective ones come my way, which is really kind of lame. DJI kind of was nice enough to reimburse me a little bit with a free battery because of all the headache that it cost, which is kind of annoying because I did need it for a job and I had to wait basically, and I still don't have a Mini 3 Pro in my hands. And Adorama was kind enough to knock 50 bucks off. So it's good when people kind of look out for your wasted energy and time. And DJI has been pretty stellar. Autel, honestly, I love this drone and the company for the no geofencing, but I am over Autel. I will do a video on that probably next and talk about my experiences with them, good and bad. They've just been changing their customer service over way too much. There's a new customer service manager now, and they kind of are not doing what the last customer service manager said they were going to do to me. Just over it. There's too much sloppiness involved with Autel now. I would still say own one, but I wouldn't get too invested. Get a Nano Plus, get a Light Plus. You can pick it up for around $1,000 and call it a day, just so you have a no geofencing drone in your hands. But Autel as a company, nah, I'm not into them. I'm not into the Autel experience anymore, and I'm just gonna lay low and stick with DJI. And yep, that's something I wasn't sure I'd say so confidently, but that is the case. So anyway, that's it, guys. Aloha. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, and that's it. Bye.